what is Adele doing that they couldn't have just called her up?
She's probably pregnant with that man's baby.
Oh,
But that's what folks were saying. Like, where's Adele?
yeah, that's a good point.
Where? Yeah, I. It was shaky to say the least. I feel that Ray should have done Diamonds Are Forever, and if Doja needed to be there, she could have done like Goldeneye because she has more of like a alt
Yeah,
rock type
or the
voice.
one.
If you're hearing this, we thank you for listening to another episode of It's a Streamable Life podcast with Brandon and Lorin. We come to you a day after the Oscars, ready to recap the award season and the 97th Annual Academy Awards. All right. Just to catch up, how have you been? What's been going on? Anything new?
Been good. Not too much. Glad the weather seems to be turning towards spring. That's always nice.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, not too much. Not too much.
Yeah, same here. I'm glad the weather is starting to stabilize at least in the Midwest.
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on the
right.
coast of the country.
Oh, it's going nuts. Yeah.
Yes, too much going on over there. I did get a new car because I needed to get a new
Yes,
car, so
I heard that.
I did that. So now I have a car payment again. So adulting's going well.
Right, right.
But before we get into our feature presentation, we'll just talk about some things that have happened recently. There's been a string of celebrity deaths that sort of kind of shocked everyone in the last week or so. Most recently, we lost Angie Stone, the
Yeah,
singer and neo-soul songwriter, at the age of 63 in a car accident. She was actually on her way to another show
yeah.
in Alabama, I believe, when I think another truck hit her car or semi hit her car or something.
Really?
So that was a total shock, as she wasn't that old at all.
No.
And then even more shocking was the loss of Michelle Trachtenberg.
Yeah.
Um, we grew up knowing her as Harriet the Spy, and then later she starred on Buffy the Vampire Slayer as Buffy's
Gossip
sister
Girl.
Dawn, Gossip
Yeah.
Girl. She was just a prolific child actor who had great success as an adult.
Yeah.
We still don't know the cause of her death. The family has sort of kept that secret, which, that's their right to do.
Right.
But it was known that she had just recently had a liver transplant, so people may suspect there may have been complications or something. But again, she was only 39 years old, so
Yeah.
a definite loss there. And then the most mysterious loss has been legendary Oscar-winning actor Gene Hackman. The 95-year-old was found dead in his home in Santa Fe along with his wife and I guess one of his dogs.
Yeah, it's very strange.
Yeah, very strange. Police are still not ruling out foul play, but they're not sure exactly what's happened. And there's now like conflicting
Right.
scenarios about his health and whatnot. Hackman was 95 years old, so he wasn't young. But for all this to happen all at once, it
Right.
seems very, very strange. They first thought
Very
maybe it
odd.
would have been carbon monoxide or some of a gas leak,
Yeah.
but they said there was none. But then they also said there's no external trauma to the bodies. It's just very strange.
Yeah. So you can't really speculate. I honestly, when it first happened and I read it, the first thing that came to my mind was like carbon monoxide. That's so common to happen, but yeah, as
Mm-hmm.
more came out, it's like okay. And then the other thing that made it strange is that it wasn't recent. Once they got to the bodies, I think his wife was bloated and already decomposing. They said that they'd been dead for maybe a week or 9 days or so. It's like, whoa, like,
Yeah, people just like someone offered a welfare check
right,
on the home, and it seems like they they had just gone unnoticed. They have been dead that long, but
right.
for all three of them,
Yeah,
I don't know if it was like a suicide attempt or
yeah.
something
And,
else that's just gone terribly
yeah, and what
wrong.
makes it strange is the dog. I was like, that's what kind of made it seem like gas. But yeah, I
Right.
guess we don't know.
Yeah. So, rest in peace to all three of those
Yeah,
creatives. They
absolutely.
were sort of legends in their own right, in their own industry. So it's going to be a little weird without them.
Yeah.
Definitely. And after a quick catch up in the news, we're going to get into our feature presentation where we're recapping the 97th Academy Awards. So this year, ABC hosted the ceremony, which lasted around about 3 hours, give or
Hmm.
take. Um, and except Jimmy Kimmel, who had hosted maybe the last
Three.
several,
Yeah, a lot.
he's hosted since Moonlight, so that's been a minute.
Wow.
Yeah. Conan O'Brien was the host, and from what the media is saying, he did a pretty decent job.
Yeah.
Um, I thought he did well. He was funny. People talked about how his jokes weren't as scathing as Kimmel because they kind of have a different comedy style. And you didn't see him as much. You know, he did the
Right.
bits and then he was gone, which I appreciate. What did you think about his hosting?
Yeah. No, I
Uh,
thought he was good, and he brings a different type of humor than Jimmy Kimmel. He's more, I think, playful, where Jimmy Kimmel's kind of dry. You know, Conan's willing to uh, embarrass himself. You see that on his show. So I thought
mm-hmm.
it was good, and yeah, he wasn't the main focus like so many hosts usually are. So yeah,
Right,
no, I thought
right.
it was very good, and
Yeah, I thought
his jokes
yeah,
were funny. The ones that hit
yeah.
really hit.
Yeah, I especially liked the Kendrick one, which I missed live because I think I looked down and missed it like
Yeah,
in the instant. Um, but yeah, he was funny.
yeah,
He got the Emilia Perez one out the way very early, so they didn't
yeah.
have to.
That was funny though.
That was funny. Yes. So then we can get to another portion of the ceremony. The production itself. I thought the show itself went pretty well. I don't think
Yeah,
it was as strong as the Grammys. I thought that production was a
yeah,
bit more
yeah,
oiled, moved like a clean machine. There are a few snafus here and there with the camera and some other things there, but overall, it was a good production. Um, the highlight though, there's usually more musical numbers. I know in the
yeah,
past they've like performed each original song or have some other song and dance, but this one was very lean
yeah,
in the music other than like the backing orchestra. So let's talk about the opening. We had Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande open with the Wicked medley, which was sort of like a more homage to Oz itself and all its
yeah,
iterations. Grande opened with Somewhere Over the Rainbow, which followed was followed by Revo doing Home from The Wiz, and then them both doing Unlimited that transition into Defying Gravity.
yeah.
What do you think about this opening number?
I thought it was good, and I thought it was a good way to kind of open it. It's like I wouldn't say it's like hype the crowd up, but it's like it's different. It's more exciting, more lively, and it kind of sets the pace for what's to come next. So I thought it was good. Um, they both can sing. They're both very talented, and so I thought it was very very good. There were other
Mm-hmm.
performances that were a little lackluster, and we'll get to that. But this one, uh, in my opinion, was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought their performance was very good. I got chills when Cynthia started singing "Home" because I was not expecting that,
Yeah,
and that's such a more emotionally charged song, I think, than "Somewhere Over the Rainbow" to
yeah,
me.
oh, absolutely, yeah,
And then as she cascaded into "Defying Gravity," I just lost it. Every time she says "Look to the Western Sky," like that part, something about the melody, it
yeah,
always gets me. Like that part is the best part of that song. So yeah, they did great on the stage. It'll be the last time we see them on stage
yeah.
because they didn't win. But it was a
Damn,
great opening, standing ovation. So yeah,
yeah, it was
um, as you
deserved.
as you mentioned, there were a few other musical numbers that felt a little
Yeah, lackluster. It fell a little
yeah
short. It fell short. Let's say that.
yeah. First, we had the James Bond tribute, which I'm still not sure why we were
I,
attributing.
and thank you. I was googling. It's like, is somebody dead? Is this a anniversary? Like, what's going on? It was so random.
And I think ultimately they did it because news came out that the Broccoli's are releasing sort of creative control of the
Yeah.
Bond franchise and selling it to Amazon MGM Studios.
Yes. Yeah. I saw that news.
So I guess that was sort of like the reason. I didn't know why else it was happening because I felt they'd done this before for Bond not that long
Yeah.
ago.
Unless they were just like, it's James Bond. He's a movie thing. Let's run with it.
Yeah.
I'm not
So
sure.
yeah, it was great seeing Halle Berry. She looked gorgeous
Yeah.
in that Christian Siriano dress, and she introduced this tribute, which started kind of oddly with Margaret Qualley dancing with.
Dancing. Yeah.
I guess she was supposed to be the Bond, and like, or she was the
Yeah.
girl in a bunch of Bonds. And then we had Lisa, who is now kind of taking over America.
Absolutely.
the
Yeah.
the Blackpink star is currently starring in The White Lotus, has a hit single with Doja and Ray, and now is on the Academy Awards. So it's a great year for her so far. She didn't sound too bad with Live and Let Die.
No. No.
She actually sounded
And
the best out of the three.
that is my favorite Bond song of all of them. This, even the newer ones, because we used to play it in band, and
Oh,
and I remember I used to always love it when the trumpets came in. I played the damn tuba, so we had like boring parts, just keeping like
the
the
time.
tone and everything. But when the trumpets would come in, just like you hear in the actual production of it, oh my goodness, I always loved that. So yeah, she did very good. That is,
Yeah. So then we transition to Diamonds Are Forever, and
yeah,
someone walks out,
uh,
and it's Doja Cat. I was like, oh, okay. The Shirley Bassey classic.
yeah.
And she walks out, and she sounds fine to start, and then somewhere along the line, it was clearly out
It's
of her
just
range.
absolutely, yeah. That's the kindest way to put it. It was just very strange. It was like, is she all right? Like, what's going on? And
Yeah.
it's,
And that last note where she just like whispered it, I said, okay, girl,
yeah, it's like,
that's supposed to be the
okay,
best
let's
part.
let's end it.
So then after Diamonds Are Forever, we cascade to a bunch of years further in the franchise
Yeah,
to Skyfall, which won the Academy Award for Best Song, sung by Adele. And we have Ray, another British import, who sang it, who
yeah.
again started pretty well and then kind of got her rendition got a little shaky near the end.
What is Adele doing that they couldn't have just called her up?
She's probably pregnant with that man's baby.
Hmm.
Um, but that's what folks were saying. Like, where's Adele?
Yeah, that's a good
Where?
point.
Yeah, I. It was shaky to say the least. I
Yeah,
feel that Ray should have done Diamonds Are Forever, and if Doja needed to be there, she could have done like Goldeneye because she has more of like a alt
yeah.
rock type
Or the
voice.
one that Alicia Keys did. That
Oh
would have worked for
yeah,
her.
um, I
Yeah,
can't
I
remember what
cannot think
the
of it.
song is called.
Hold on.
Something is it something about Smile?
Maybe
I
I'll
forget.
find it. Let's keep going. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
with Jack White. It's Another Way to Die.
Another Way to Die.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget the melody, but she could have definitely done that. Yeah, the Bond thing was a little
Mm.
not good. And then we get to the Quincy Jones tribute, which brought out Whoopi and Oprah, which was great to see
Mhm.
them again. Um, and they do Ease on Down the Road from The Wiz.
Yeah.
Now, folks were saying this was even written by Quincy. So
I just picked a song.
they just said, oh, that's the main song from The Wiz.
Right.
And threw Queen Latifah on there, which I mean, she did as well as she could with what she was
Yeah.
given to do. I did not like that cape she was wearing.
No, that was a lot, and also the crowd was dead. They could have
The
helped her
only
out.
people on their feet were the gays and the
Yeah,
black people. I was so upset.
they
They were
could have
like,
clapped or done anything.
I feel like a lot of them didn't know what was happening.
No, no, and that's a good point. They may have been just as confused as the audience.
Yeah. So yeah, it definitely went from great too fair to what
Hmm.
as far as musical productions. Um, but other than that, it was pretty good. They had the In Memoriam, which was another segment. Folks were kind of odd, had questions about that musical selection as well,
Yeah.
because it
It
wasn't placid. It was more dark.
it was like macabre. I heard somebody put it perfectly. They said this isn't music you would play to uh talk about and uplift the lives of these people. This is some shit you would play if you want to bring them back from the dead. Like it was like it's very strange.
Yeah, folks were like, "Why does it feel like Succession? Like, what
Yeah.
are we doing?" It was very weird. And Morgan Freeman spoke about Gene Hackman,
Yeah.
which was appropriate. We had lost so many that year, but of course, people managed to pick out folks they forgot. They excluded Tony Todd of the Candyman franchise.
If
Um,
anybody should have been in there, he should have.
yeah.
That's yeah.
They also didn't have time to include Michelle Trachtenberg, evidently,
Which
and then
right.
Shannon Doherty was another gaping name missing
Yeah.
from the ceremony there. But overall, you can only do so much. There's always someone
Yeah.
forgotten, unfortunately. All right, and now we'll go ahead and get into the main event of the ceremony, the winners. So, surprisingly, Anora scored the
Did they?
biggest night,
Yeah.
with Sean Baker getting 5 of his 6 nominations for the film,
Yeah.
included original screenplay, best editing, lead actress for Mickey Madison, best director, and best picture. Um, I was aghast because I didn't expect that. It seemed like
No.
they didn't really get all this press until the very end of the award season.
Yeah.
I know she won the BAFTA, and then I think he got the Directors Guild Award and the Producer Guild Award. So I guess the stars just aligned for that film to win. I still
Yeah.
need to see it, so
Yeah. So do I. I was hoping for Best Actress Demi Moore won, but
yeah, that was what I was hoping for because she was my favorite performance out of
yeah.
the nominees.
And
Yeah.
as for Mickey Madison, like I said, I've not seen Anora, but one thing that usually that happens is that either the best actress, best actors, what Adrian Brody, he's already a thing. This can either uplift them or they just fall into obscurity. And I kind of hope that
Mm-hmm.
this does help her career because she does seem and she's been in a lot of things, kind of like in small roles, but maybe this is what
Mm-hmm.
will,
Push her forward.
yeah,
Yeah, I had no idea she was in the show on FX.
better things.
Better Things, which
Yeah,
everyone
yeah,
praises. I definitely start that. So yeah, she's actually been working for a minute. It's just now that
right.
she's becoming sort of recognizable. And Anora comes to Hulu on March 17th.
Fantastic.
So yeah. So yeah, Nora was the big winner that night, followed by The Brutalist that won 3: Best Actor, Best Cinematography, and Best Score. Surprisingly, Conclave got just 1 with Adapted
Yeah,
Screenplay. Other shutouts included Nothing for a Complete Unknown and Nothing for The Substance, which I kind of hated.
yeah, that was too bad. It was such hype, at least among fans, people that saw it. But the
Yeah,
voting, yeah,
yeah. And Demi had, she got the Globe, she got the SAG Award. I think she got the Critics' Choice. Like she was on a roll
yeah,
to just get the Oscar. Elsewhere, you had Wicked score 2 wins. Production design, which they definitely deserve because most of their designs
absolutely,
were
yeah.
practical. And then costume design, which went to Paul Tazwell, who
Hmm.
became the first Black man to win costume design at the Academy Awards.
Yeah, that was a big moment.
Yeah, so that was a great moment. And then, of course, the Emilia Perez of it all. Zoe continued
Yeah,
to her streak for Best Supporting Actress, along with Kieran Culkin getting Supporting Actor for Real Pain.
yeah,
Emilia also won Best Original Song for El Mal. Um, and something else, if I'm not mistaken. I thought it was 3,
I'm not sure.
or maybe it wasn't. Oh, Substance did win makeup and hairstyling, so
Okay,
they were
yeah.
not shut out. So they got one, which was deserved. I mean, come on now. Maybe they just won one or two. Yeah, Perez just won two.
Okay.
Um, Original song for El Mal and supporting actress for Zoe Saldana, who look,
Yes.
sis,
After the award, yeah.
after the awards, Zoe is, perfectly questioned by press from Mexico about the film's depiction of Mexicans and the culture and in the
Yeah.
film, which a lot of critiques have happened throughout the year. And she opened and said, I'm sorry that you were offended, but I have to disagree with your opinion. The movie wasn't about Mexico, it was another country. It was about four women.
In Mexico.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a horrible answer.
Horrible answer. And it's like, so if we did a film based in the Dominican Republic and
Right.
depicted everybody as anti-black sexual deviants, it wouldn't matter because the movie's about a white woman. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was a bad answer. She could have said so many other things than what she actually said. Just
Yeah, it wasn't a good answer. And overall, that whole film, everything with that film just turned to shit,
yeah.
unfortunately.
Once it came
Um,
out, once clips started to come out of the singing and the dancing, and we got a little bit more information about the premise, I was like, what? Like, what is?
yeah, I don't know what Cam was thinking. Like, I really don't see what
Yeah.
they saw. Um, I mean, congrats to Zoe. I wish it was a different movie, and I wish she would shut up. But
Right.
she's still an Oscar winner at the very least. Other highlights. Well, one of the biggest highlights for me, because the speeches were very, yeah, for the most part.
Yeah.
Um, No Other Land winning for documentary
Absolutely.
feature was
I was
probably
I
the
was just about to say that. Yeah.
peak moment of the ceremony, because the Israeli and Palestinian filmmakers spoke very powerfully about having basically coexisting in that area of the country, choosing life over death, and calling the U.S. out for blocking
Yeah.
attempts for peace. I thought it was a great moment. Of course, the film has yet to be bought for distribution because America is terrible, but hopefully
It
something
gets
happens
out there.
where everyone else can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was one of the best moments of the ceremony, and I feel like after that, the program is sort of ran stale. Everything became a little bit predictable.
Right.
There wasn't much surprise after that.
And you talk about the speeches, and I saw something. I wish I had favored it, but it was somebody that's over the Oscars, or at least on like the board, and they said that they were going to do what they could to keep the Oscars from being political. Uh, Try to keep it, apolitical as possible. Just let's get through it. Let's talk about movies. And it's like, what? At a time like this, I
Right.
can't
A
imagine.
movie a movie about a sex worker won Best Picture.
Yeah,
You gave 13 nominations to a movie about a Mexican transgender woman. Like, what are
right.
you
And you
talking
wanted to
about?
say, right. It's already political. Like,
The Brutalist?
yeah, absolutely.
So
So,
yeah, that person gotta go. Cause them folks got on that stage and said diddly squat. Not one single person mentioned trans
yeah,
people from Emilia Perez. So what was the movie for then?
exactly, exactly. If it wasn't for visibility, what were you doing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
trash. So yeah, that component is very unfortunate. I was happy. Let's see any other moments. I was glad Flo won.
Yeah,
Um,
I need to watch that. My sister watched it recently and said it was very good. So
yeah, I was happy for them. And for the most part, people got to say what they wanted to say. As the ceremony went on, the orchestra got a little chippy with the music.
yeah, yeah,
And Adrian Brody, he gave one of the longest speeches in Academy history and said diddly shit. Like,
yeah,
there was no hypothesis, no conclusion. He was just rambling. Yeah, I was quite annoyed. All right, and then finally, Hulu is not Netflix. So not only at the beginning of the ceremony, for those that were able to stream it on Hulu that didn't watch it live on ABC, there was an outage at the very beginning. So some folks were missing the action. Then once the stream came live near the end, I guess they had set it up for exactly the time allotted.
Yeah. It dropped out, I think, the last 2 awards.
Yeah. Lead actress and best picture folks didn't see on Hulu. So that's 2 strikes in one night for the streamer. They gotta get that together.
Great.
Yeah. Somehow Netflix has amassed the right people and minds to where their live events are
and they had
working.
I regret watching it, but the Tyson Jake Paul fight was blotchy and bad, and then they had that Beyonce event that was like flawless, and so they definitely had a little mess up, and they were like, okay, before Beyonce, we gotta get this shit squared away.
Exactly. You can't be touting Beyonce in the NFL and then it not work.
Right.
And they've had a while to practice. They tried that Love is Blind live thing, and that was trash.
Right.
And they had that Chris Rock thing, and that was a little sketchy. So they've had a bit more trial and error. But Hulu, girl, you're Disney. Like, what happened?
Right. Yeah.
So that ends the award season. There's already talks about films that are kind of mounting up for next year. Maybe some repeat faces. Of course, you'll have Wicked, I guess, returning for the sequel. Coleman Domingo may be back for his portrayal of Joe Jackson for the Michael biopic that's coming out. Jonathan Majors may sneak back into good graces with Magazine Dreams, which I still want to see. People are saying he's phenomenal in it. I'm trying to think what else is supposed to... I doubt Snow White does anything because people hate Gal Gadot. Hate her.
She was all everybody was talking about when No Other Land won. It said, they did it in front of her. They were going off on her. It's like, yeah, I'm so glad she has to witness. It's like, damn.
They don't like her at all. And I just feel that film is not going to do what Disney wants it to do. The live action remakes are not.
No.
They're not.
In the little clips I've seen so far,
that teaser trailer,
not the one.
And they're already planning Rapunzel, which that doesn't need.
Let's get away from those. Those are they're over.
Yeah. All right, we'll transition to streams of the week. I have not seen a lot of movies at all.
Yeah, at least not this week. No, all I've been focused on is catching up on television because we'll talk about next week. I was 2 episodes behind on The White Lotus. I'm finally caught up. I was an episode behind on Severance, which, oh my God. So I had to catch up on 2 on Friday. And then Yellow Jackets, and we already spoke about that via text. I was like, oh, I don't want to watch this. And then I was like, okay.
It took me a minute to get on there. Yeah, I've been trying to catch up to. So we'll talk about that next episode. And I guess we can just sort of plan on trying to catch some of the Oscar films now that they're more accessible.
They're all about to drop.
We can definitely do that. And March is Women's History Month, so we can choose a film either directed by a woman or focus on women-centric films with the same themes and try to discuss those for our next film episode. Yeah. So next episode will be a TV episode where we'll return to Kier to see what's happening on Severance. A lot is going on.
A lot.
And we'll also have the first 3 episodes of Marvel's Daredevil Born Again, which will be on Disney+. Was premiered yesterday when you're listening to this on Wednesday. So thank you for listening to this episode of It's the Streamable Life podcast. And until next time, keep on streaming.
Peace.